be like, I'm not asking for much, but I need the opportunity to speak. And then when we get to the very end, we'll have questions. Like, I have solutions, questions, and there's going to be things that I'm going to add at the end that is going to be beneficial for you as a buyer. So just give me a second. Let me collect that information for you, and then we could jump into comments and concerns and questions at the very end. So I just really need that 100% so that you understand. So as I mentioned, DBG has been around for 7 years. So there's always been a balance owed always to the factory. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that what was disclosed is not 100% truth. And it's sad that I even have to go into it because of the logistics that go behind a business. But there's always been a balance that is owed to our factories. It's just how it works. You pay 50%, you pay 50% when it's done. Now, last year, which again, I can show you my tax records. I can be transparent and show you guys everything. I've always carried a balance with my factory. So towards the end of last year, like every like stumbling on my words, but I have receipts and everything that I'm going to show at the very end. I promise. I've pretty much did a Prezi point on this. So there's always a balance that gets carried over by, it's a part of the fulfillment. It's a part of the process, a part of the business. Now, it doesn't mean that because there's a balance owed to the factory. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of logistics because I don't think that I need to do that. I'm just going to go into the fact that those items that are in production are being paid for. So when the item is finished, now let me emphasize finished, meaning when the product is done, the rest of the remainder of the 50% that is owed to the factory is paid for and my items ship to me. Now, has there been delays in production? Of course. There have been errors that happened, samples that happened, that were issues and things that happened on the back end that totally have to do with me. This is like, it's like I ask people for like, I know you have concerns and questions. Let me get to it, okay? So let me reiterate, because I can give you guys numbers. You guys think 20K to my factory is like a brand new number. It isn't. I've always carried a balance with my factory because I'm a high volume pin producer, always. Now, have the sales trickled down? Yes, they have. It's like no one owes me anything. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Okay. I'm like, okay, back to it. So now, as far as production goes, the factory always collects 50% in order to produce a product. Now, my factory, it has been paid, okay, 66K per the info that isn't even confirmed. Just so you know, I have receipts of my factory stating that they've never spoken to anybody, and I don't know any business that would gladly divulge logistics to a customer, especially when I've worked with them for 5 years. I'm sorry, Laurel. It's just not true, and I'm going to get to it. Now, there is a balance owed to my factory. There's always a balance. There's always a 50% balance when products are completed. Now, just like you guys, I have waited for my products to be completed as well, but I have the confidence that my factory has completed it. Oh God, it's like, I can't do anything on here, I swear. It's like so ridiculous because it's like, give me a second. Okay, so there's always 50%. I'm not going to run into the logistics of my business. Unfortunately, that privacy of my logistics was violated by somebody that did try to obtain information from my factory. That information was leaked out there, so now I'm addressing it. So one of the first and foremost things that I'm going to say is that information is a total, it's like I'm trying to really speak, but I really fucking can't. I'm so fucking sorry. It's like, I really was like, okay, I'm going to start over because this isn't reaching. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying. I really fucking am. It's crazy. Okay. So again, a factory would not function without receiving any sort of payment from you. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship you have with the factory. You will always pay 50% of what you owe them up front. Always. I'm going to just say this very clear and concise, that you guys are functioning on numbers that has been denied and not confirmed by my factory. So I'm addressing allegations in regards to why my pins have been delayed and why there are no updates. And I'm really trying my best to do it because, quite honestly, I'm only going to be speaking to my supporters in regards to why things have taken a long time and giving them the reassurance that those products are going to be completed. They are in production. Most of everything is at the end of printing. And like I mentioned before, 50%, okay? When the product is done, the balance is paid. And as a business, that is something that I have to figure out for myself in regards to those payments to the factory, which I have. There is already a payment plan in place. There is already a business loan that has been granted to Designs by Jen. So there is a reassurance that those products are going to get to you as a consumer. And that is the major concern that everyone has. Now, a factory wouldn't produce products without a payment. That's just how it works. It doesn't matter how special you are, that's their business owners as well, and they just would not do that. So, again, reiterating back, and I could go, look, I'm not going to divulge into logistics of owning a business, running a pin business, understanding the fulfillment. I have 7 years that I've done this business and have yet to not fulfill an order. Has this last year, my orders taken a long time? Yes, but they are in production. You are getting those updates. They are slower, obviously, because of everything going on, and definitely on my end too, with a lot of the fallouts that happened, samples that got remade, things that got remade that came out of, again, the process of fulfilling those orders, but they are going to be fulfilled. So I think like the biggest thing that I could do now is offer solutions, right? So anything that still is in protection is offer a solution for you guys as buyers, as far as like a rebuy or a cancellation, a rebuy type of situation, which is something that I have been going over to try to figure out logistically how I can do that, but I'm going to offer that for anything that is still in protection. Anything that is out of, and those products are finished.
What's going on? Really?
Out of a live stream on Instagram, by the way, guys. So again, like speaking to the people that are waiting and concerns, you are still going to get those products. Now, as far as cancellations and things like that, those are things that we're definitely going to visit, because again, I just want to make the reassurance that I'm really not going anywhere. I don't plan to leave. Those products are almost done. They're made. There was a lot of things that went on in the back end last year logistically that if I sat here and I dove deep and I showed you everything, I would just be teaching you a lesson on how, like, I wouldn't even be teaching you a lesson. I would just be divulging like business information and business expenses and things that went into the business. But yes, things have taken a long time, but they are in production and they are almost done. So there are items that haven't had updates, which I 100% am just going to offer cancellation refunds for at this point. And that has a lot to do with the fact that, again, my factory, there's a repayment plan in place. I have another factory that I'm also working with as well. And so, I'm just going to, those are honestly the products that I haven't updated are products that didn't sell that well. So I'm okay with just doing refunds for that because the orders weren't even that great to begin with. So, and again, and I acknowledge fully that those are things and executive decisions that I'm making as a business owner myself. So, okay, so the pre-sales that are far out, like I mentioned before, anything that is purchased that you have an update for, my factory is moving things in production. You're going to get those products. I just want to reassure that. Again, a factory, everyone does it this way, where there is pretty much like, for example, I'm going to speak business and logistics. Give me a second, guys, because I'm going to speak business and logistics, okay? Business isn't that complicated. Yes, Jess, it is. And if it wasn't, a lot of people would do pins, right? And that's why a lot of people have, and a lot of people, it doesn't go far. Business is hard. Any business is hard. And when you deal with logistics, like I said before, there's no way a company would not do the 50%. This is how business has always ran. There's always been a 50% payment plus a little over. And then when those products are completed, you pay the balance. That's always been how it's worked. With Designs by Jen, it's always worked that way. It's never not worked that way. Now, what I didn't expect, of course, is delays on my end, which I hold 100% accountability for, which was sample delays, things that I didn't approve on time, and that caused even more of a delay. And that has a lot to do with me taking on a role, which I've reiterated over and over again in plenty of lives, that I reiterated that I stepped into a role that I wasn't used to, because this was a business that managed with 4 different people. And it had a lot to do with, a lot of my own neglect on neglecting sample approvals and, proofing and things like that. So okay, no, you're right. I shouldn't assume that everyone does them this way, but I do. I don't make, I didn't want to go into the logistics of a pin business, but I don't make soft enamel pins that cost me $600. I just don't. I don't make $500 pins. I don't make pins that cost me $200 to make. I make pins that are very pricey and expensive, and it's a flow of a business that circles back. So even at the time, I'll give you an exaggerated, I'll actually, you know what? I'll show you a receipt just to show you. Every January of the beginning of every year since DBG's inception, there's always been a balance owed because sales slow down towards the winter at the end of the year. And my factory can back me up that at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, they receive a very large lump sum because we've established business credit with lenders and loans. And so there's always money that flows back into the factory in a lump sum. And that allows us to create more pins and quality and things like that. And there's, again, a lot of logistics. It's a business. It is 100% a business. So the flow of money that goes into the business goes into expenses. It goes back into the factory. They receive easily $6 to $7 grand from me a month for the pins that they completed at the time. I want you to think about that for a second. My business manages I have done pre-sales every month for the last 3 years. 50% is paid, 50% is paid when it's completed. If I didn't pay those 50% invoices last year, do you think that I would have received the pins that I received last year, fulfilled those items, shipped the products? There's no way. There's absolutely no way. And this is a big operation. Like if I showed you how much my receipts are for shipping a month, I ship about $2,500 to $3,500 a month in shipping alone. That includes Patreon. That includes shipping and processing. That includes all of the things that require a business to function. Prints, stickers, losses, because not everything sells. I can't believe I have to go in here and talk about how not everything sells. So to redirect back, because I feel like I'm going into a business tangent that I don't have to, sure, I'll show it. I really don't have anything to hide at this point. So, I think for me, the reassurance that I want to give you is that anything that is in production is owed to you, has been outstanding, is going to be given to you. My factory is finishing things. Things are being processed still. It is on a slower pace that has a lot to do with me on my end, but just know and have the reassurance that those are items that you will receive. You will receive them. I have yet to not fulfill an order. And again, I've been doing this for 7 years. And yes, it took a hit. This last year was probably the biggest hit I've ever taken financially because the sales have been stagnant. But again, that has to do a lot on the opposite side of business, right? I had a lot to do with that, of course, and I own up to that. But, I'm still here and I'm not going anywhere. And I feel like that's one of the things that if I have to reassure everybody, you'll get through. Okay. They want to see the receipts. You'll see them. So if you want to, reassure you that I feel like I might feel like I'm talking to, I can't even talk without having comments. Do you have anybody who pays me? Yes, I do. Yes. I've managed this business, this monstrous of a business, and it's not the first time I ever have a balance owed to my factory. I guarantee it's not. It never is. I, for the last 5 years, have produced pins in large quantities. My Ellie's have been Ellie 100s, Ellie 200s, and not everything sells out, but there's always been a balance owed, and that's the logistics and that's the process that is meant to be private, but unfortunately was put forward. And the balance owed isn't 60 grand, this outrageous number that everyone has calculated or thinks. Because again, when pins are completed, and I can't emphasize this enough, 50% is then the balance owed and it's paid to the factory. Okay, 50%. And prior to all of this even going out, I just wired my factory money. So it's, like I said, it's like, I could go on and on and on, but yeah, yeah. I'm really trying to explain things, but yes, it would be like, in all honesty, and you want me to be honest with you, like your products would not arrive to you if they weren't paid for 50% and then the difference is paid for when it's done. Those products are not done. The products that are done have now been paid for, hence why my factory is shipping me products, because that just wouldn't work out. So what's owed to my factory, if everyone wants to know what's owed to my factory, it's $18,000, and I just wired them $10K last week. Okay, and I'm gonna send them the difference this week because I got a loan for it, because you can get loans on PayPal. It's called PayPal business loans that allow you a percentage of your sales get cut and you get funded for your inventory. So, like I said, those products are done. No manufacturer would produce that many products without you giving them some sort of payment. There's just no way. So yes, 50% of everything that is in production has been paid for. And when they finish the product, they get paid the rest. That's just how it works. Why a loan? Because sales are gone. Like and again, it's my business to have a business loan or not. I mean, this always happens. There's always a slow period in pins where in-hand sales slow down, but it picks right back up. And the reality, talk is cheap. Yes, I agree. I 100% agree. And the receipts are there. The receipts are where the production is. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where, everyone has every right to be upset that the pins have taken as long as they've taken, but they are in production and you're going to get your product. And that's where I stand on it. And the last couple of months, sales have not been that great as far as in hand and in product sales, but they are still, again, being processed, and 50%. And then it's just how a business runs. And if I sit here and just my whole purpose of this was to address that the information that was put out there was 100% illegally obtained and it was private, but it's not 100% accurate. That's just an overall picture. And like I said, 50% paid, 50% gets paid after. And I think the way that I'm going to leave this is going to be, okay, the pre-sale money that you collected, it's like, okay, we're going to dive into, I guess, because all of you guys want to know the logistics, but yeah, so like I said, it's kind of crazy, but yeah, all this rambling, blah, 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 show the blah, like the receipts, you want to know where the receipts are? They're in the updates, baby. They're in the updates. They're going to be done. So, I'm really trying to stay in focus. Look, I understand that you guys are all upset. You guys got scammed by other creators. You guys got snapped by other people. But I'm honestly still here. And there's the reassurance that you're going to get your products and they're going to look great. And if you waited a long time and you're upset because you didn't plan to collect the product and you plan to flip a pin, I am so sorry that you could not flip the pin that you wanted to flip. But if you are, again, willing to wait it out, then you can. Your options to do what you wish to do with your money is 100% there. If you want to do chargebacks, I've already been hit with them. So that's there, but I assure you that if you don't, then you're going to get a really beautiful product, and that's what we're working on as of right now. So as of right now, I just got the bride pins, so those are arriving to me. And then as far as the completion of other pins, so Ariel teal dress is done. What gaslighting is there? I don't understand. No, you're not gonna wait 2 more years. No. Why would you wait 2 more years when the pins are done? Okay, let me pull my stuff because, yeah. And like I said, and I talked to my factory already too. So we're gonna show them because
Yeah.
I'm gonna show them on here. Yes. It's like the updates are exactly where you find them. That's another thing too. It's like you guys are asking me for updates when the updates are available to you. They're in my highlights. That's what a lot of people don't understand. And yes, like the delays happen, and I've admitted that they've happened because on my end, I didn't approve samples. My factory had to reach out to me about approvals and things like that. So they are in my highlights for all the updates that you need, and anything that you haven't received an update for, like I said, it's, you have every right to do what you must on that end. So, okay. I'm pulling them up actually, so just give me a second. Let me pull up the name of my factory first. No, I'm not stalling. Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna jump off of here and then I'll jump back on here because I have them on my phone. So like I mentioned before, and like I said, my factory didn't speak to anybody, and like I said, the updates are there. I don't know what, okay. It's like talking to, yeah, whatever. It's like the most frustrating experience. But I understand your frustrations too. So as far as, like I said, I posted a little bit of the conversation, but there is absolutely, like, no one has spoken to anybody. And I'm going to be posting these on my Instagram as well because my factory confirmed to me that they didn't speak to anybody, and I just have to believe what my factory is saying. And as far as, like I said, the updates go for production, everything, I have a list of what's in print and what's going to arrive and what's going to be paid for and what's going to be processed. It's kind of like one of those things, look, it's going to be one of those things where it's like the most I've ever seen people on my live stream in a long time, so welcome. It's going to be one of those things where, I don't know, what proof do you guys want to see? You want to see how much I spent in production last year that you guys are demanding my receipts? God, some of you aren't even collectors anymore. It's kind of ridiculous. I'm just going to remove some of you guys because I'm not even speaking to you guys. That's crazy. It's okay. No, it's not true because my factory said that they didn't speak to anybody, and I have the receipts showing that they didn't speak to anybody. Okay. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. And like I said, business would not function without a payment. That's the crazy part. It's like, oh yeah. Oh no, if there's a pin that doesn't have updates, those were definitely, like I said, Yes, the live will be saved. Okay. Proof of what? What do you want proof of? Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm not laughing because I think this is funny. I'm laughing because there is no way, I don't understand how you guys think that a factory would produce 16 pins without receiving 50% of some sort of payment. I don't know what factory you guys work with, but there is no factory in China that would start production without receiving a payment. That doesn't exist. It just doesn't. And the lack of updates that you're demanding me, their updates are there. If a product is waiting for print, it's waiting for print. I can't fly to China and tell them, hey guys, I need you guys to print this. It's taken so long. And like I said before, it's taken a long time because of the fact that production has taken me a long time to finalize. And like I said, it's like, it just, yeah. My factory doesn't. They would never take a payment without 50%, without pushing it forward. But sure. It's kind of so fucking crazy. Okay, I'll be right back because I'm going to circulate my board and show everybody everything. So I'm going to be right back with my transactions for you to see what has been paid to the factory and what hasn't. Because I didn't plan to show people what I paid and what I didn't. But I will show it because I don't have anything to lose at this point, and I'm not trying to convey anything else. And yeah, so we'll just go on there. But I mean, no, I understand you guys are upset, but you guys are really not allowing me a train of thought or a conversation to be conveyed because those pins are obviously in production, and my factory has reassured me that no one has talked to anybody and there's not a 60K balance owed to my factory. And if everyone really wants to know what the balance was, it was 15 grand, and I just sent them 10. And that's the way that a business functions. No, I agree, spazzed out. This is really point on. I think the main problem is that every scammer has a good reputation, a good track record until they don't anymore. That's very freaking true. But I'm still processing orders, and I have all last year. All last year. The orders are still there. So the reality is that I'm still a functioning business. I'm still pushing things into production. And I think the best step moving forward, because of the situation and the way that the sales have gone, is again still pushing forward. Still, like I said, I always get a loan every year, and I always pay it back. It's always slow. Of course, this last year it has been slower than ever. It's always been the slowest that it's ever been. And the business did take a hit. There was a lot of financial losses. I think a lot of people don't take into consideration the financial losses. I'm sitting on a lot of stock that I put a lot of thought and my hard-earned money into. Tiana, Odette, Dream, things that just didn't sell. And that's a part of a business, and I took those losses, and it does set me back a lot when it comes to the production of things. But, at the end of the day, the updates that everyone's upset about the pins that have taken a year, but those are all finishing. They're all done. And I already got the reassurance that those are going to be shipping to me in the next couple of weeks. So even if I got the pins tomorrow, I don't think anybody would be happy because of the time frame that it took. And I understand the market took a hit. My reputation took a hit. There was a lot of things that happened in between. But, and again, yes, okay. The pre-sale money that you pay for, and everyone wants to see the logistics. Fine. I'm gonna pause my live and I'm gonna come back to show everything so that I don't show my passwords to things, because I can't do both. I can't like log into my things and show everybody everything and then come back over here. But pre-sale money, there's a lot of different negations for pre-sale money. Pre-sale money covers 50% of the pre-sale plus whatever else is cost. I don't design my own pins. I had somebody that I worked with as a designer. There's also shipments and fulfillments. There's also, again, like the processing of pins that come in hand, things that I self-fund. That's where the funds get allocated to. And so, you know, like I said, we're going to go through the process. Yes, and the pictures of the pins are there. That's the thing that I'm trying to reiterate. If there isn't an update, those orders will be canceled and you will be given a refund. So I just want to reiterate that, because now I'm just going to speak to pre-sale buyers. If you haven't seen an update and that production has been canceled, then you will receive a refund. All that means is, for things that you don't see, is that it's not worth it for me to put my own money into funding it and getting an LE40 and sitting on stock. So if you haven't seen an update, you will be getting a refund for those items, and I'm going to be processing that. And if you'd like to rebuy it in the future, then you can. If you have seen an update for the product is being finished, it will be shipped, it'll be delivered to you. Pre-sales are no longer continuing. I haven't done a pre-sale in a long time. So, or I haven't done a pre-sale in a couple weeks. I did a variant, but yes, that's about it. Okay, so if that's the reassurance that you want, if you haven't seen an update, I will be canceling those for the pins that didn't sell at all. So that's another thing that I will mention. There's some pins that I pre-sold that I thought that I could self-fund myself, meaning I sold maybe 5 or 6 orders. I'm going to be canceling those. I can't do it. So I'm going to be processing those as cancellations, and you're going to be getting those notifications. Some of you have already gotten them. For example, the blue bell isn't being processed. You probably already had the notification that those are canceled, because I'm just not going to pursue production. I'm just pausing it where it is so that I could catch up with what I do have pre-sales for. So that's another one. Let's see. Let's see. And then what about production funds? Patreon funds. Okay, well, Patreon funds, people that are a part of Patreon are still receiving their rewards. And like I said, Patreon is taking a pause. We're restructuring Patreon. So Patreon funds, the funds from Patreon literally go back into the funds of Patreon, of like the rewards, the pins, because again, pin rewards, that's another thing that a lot of people don't consider either. It's like, I put an order in for rewards. Those are 100% self-funded. I lose members, which totally falls on me. It's a part of a business, but I'm still left over with the buffer. Those leftover pins haven't sold, so I'm sitting on that stock as well. So Patreon items, everyone that's been a part of Patreon has received their reward packages, so that's like completely out. Yes, pause does start in March. Some people were denied. Yes, the denial of refunds are for products that are in production. Products that are almost done, I'm not refunding those. Those are items that are finished by my factory. I'm not refunding those. I can't realistically refund those items and then afford to like keep the production and pay the 50% that I owe my factory, especially for items that are like done. So those are the ones that are being denied. Anything that is in production, has updates, is at the very last end of production, whether it's print, about to ship, those are the refunds that I am denying, because those are already done. So as far as like anything that doesn't have an update, you will be getting cancellations. You're more than welcome to send in those notifications via PayPal. If you'd like to rebuy them and wait for the future, because what I'm doing now for all of those items is I'm putting a pause. So there was a 50% that has been paid to the factory, has been slowed down. And again, I work with I'm going to tell you right now that I'm going to pause it, but I will revisit, and I'm more than welcome to cancel those orders. And then if you'd like to rebuy later, once we've caught up and once the factory has caught up and once the item has progressed a little bit more, then I will offer that. So again, if you've anything that hasn't had an update, will be canceled or paused, because it just means it's just being paused at the time so that we can catch up. And then that way you don't have, that way you don't lose your PayPal protection, because I think that's the biggest concern, right? The PayPal protection right now, as of now, is on a pause. And yes, my Patreon is $70, but they receive a full size pin, big fat lanyards. So people get a full size pin. They don't get tiny stuff, and they get prints and stickers. So, and if you don't see value in that, you're more than welcome to leave the Patreon. So, yeah, I will provide that for you guys. No, I didn't think anything that I can talk myself out of anything. Okay, as of right now, the pins that are ready from the factory, ready to ship, is going to be the teal dress Ariel. So that is the Ariel variant 1 and 2, her in her pink dress and her in her teal dress. Those are done and ready. And the magnet Ariel is also done and ready. And the next one that's up next is going to be Pocahontas that is going to be printing. And then we also have the Snow White Dream pin that is also going to be printing next. Yeah. It's like I need to do a whole separate live to just go over things in general. I mean, I knew this was like logging in. Well, Julie, okay. Julie collect pins. The alleged loan. It's not an alleged loan. It's a loan that it's a loan that any business has. I think as a small business, when you're not making your sales like in person, for example, if I'm not selling my stock and I'm sitting on stock and I'm not making sales with that stock, like any business owner, you're going to get a loan to allow yourself to catch up and be able to process and fulfill your orders. And that's like the biggest importance is the fulfillment of your orders. Why doesn't it cover the entire production cost? Because not every pre-sale sells out in large amounts. Yes, there's a profit that is made in pre-sales, but there are also business expenses. There are also expenses to designers. There are expenses also, again, when at that time the factory finishes a product, 50% of that gets paid back to the factory. Losses, refunds. There's a lot of things that happened last year that played a huge part in everything. Okay, well, good for you, Pineapple Princess. I'm so happy that you don't have to take out loans to help your customers if there are orders placed, and that good for you. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. It's like, because there's not really a large profit. Like 35% of what I sell in pre-sale last year was negotiated to my designer. 35%. I also went through a separation of a company. So, and that has nothing to do with you guys as consumers. That's me as a business owner, where a buyout was required to buy out somebody that was a partner in this business in Designs by Jen. So that was a huge part as well. And there are other business expenses. If a pin does horrible and I have to remake it, I have to pay that out of pocket. That goes into the very small profit margins that you guys are talking about. It's a business. It's run as a business. There are business expenses. There are also taxes. I pay taxes every year for my business. I pay $45,000 to $50,000 a year in taxes every year. It gets paid quarterly. This is like, I understand that for some people you can't fathom having to take a loan out, but I run a giant business with lots of pins. You guys can see the production, and obviously we're scaling back. I can't do it all by myself. I do use it to cover production. 50% of the production is covered. 50% of the production is covered. 50, plus some. Yes, 50K in taxes, big fat lanyards. I run a very large business that isn't just pre-sales, it's in-hand sales, it's live sales, it's Patreon, it's a lot. So you know what? I'm going to be honest with you guys. Disclosing my business information is a lot for me, but I'm willing to do that. I just need to be better prepared to do that and show what you guys want to see, because I'm at the point where it doesn't matter.
You would.
But as far as the updates go for your products, those updates are available to you. Those products are shipping to me. There is a repayment plan in place with the factory. There's a lot of things that I'm doing as a business owner to ensure that you guys get your items and your orders. And I think that's the biggest reassurance that I could reassure you guys in, is that you will get your pins. And I understand that given the environment and the amount of people that have left, that there is a lot of anxiety that goes into it, but there are updates that you're receiving. You're going to get your pens, and that's where I'm at as far as an explanation. As far as anything that, like I said, the last couple months that you would like, you're welcome to do what you can with if you want to cancel those orders that you haven't seen an update on, you're more than welcome to do that. And like I said, it's going to be there. It doesn't mean that I'm not going anywhere. I don't understand where you guys think that I'm leaving. Like, I am still processing orders. I just shipped orders last week. I literally just shipped orders last week. Orders are being processed, and you're going to get those beautiful pins that you absolutely love. So I'm like, at this point, I don't know. I feel like the people that are speaking at this point are either upset that they couldn't flip a pin, or they're mad about something else, and I understand, and it's valid, and there's nothing else more that I could explain, honestly. Yeah, Nixie said that too. You know what? You want me to be honest with you? Nixie has been a so creator for 3 years. And the people that still, there was a whole moment where her Patreon she didn't even fulfill her Patreon orders for almost a whole year. I've been fulfilling my Patreon orders. I'm still processing my orders. So that's where I'm at, honestly. That's really where I'm at. Yeah. I'm just going to let people talk at this point, because it's just like, let me collect my stuff really quick. But yeah. No, I'm not trying to gaslight anybody. I'm at the point where, I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore, because, truth be told, the pins that you paid for, you're going to get them. The orders are being processed. No, and they're going to get the pin. That's the crazy part. You guys are going to get your pins. I don't understand why you feel like you aren't. I just got a set of pins. I just got the bride set in hand. I'm going to be getting the magnet aerial in the next couple weeks. I'm going to be getting the teal dress aerials in the next couple weeks. And I don't know, I really am so confused, because I don't know what else to say. Yes, it's taken a long time, but you're going to get your beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pins. And that's all I'm going to say, because at this point, that's all I have, right? Is just, I'm processing the orders, they're being processed, and you're going to get them. The longest that the orders have waited has been a year, but they're done. So those are going to be shipping to me, and I will be processing them. The one thing that I can't do, and this is when I say I'm denying refunds, is for the products that are done. Those are products that came in hand. Last year, I did refunds for people for products that were finished. They got shipped to me, and they decided that they wanted nothing to do with DBG, and that cost me thousands of dollars to refund those people, because they changed their mind. So, like I said, those are there, and that's where I'm at. I don't know what else to say. No, my only pin account is this one. I'm this is crazy. I'm over it. The pins with no updates, I will be posting the updates that I have. And then if you don't see anything and you'd like to cancel, by all means, you definitely can, which I already said. And if you want to rebuy and do it later, that's an option. We could revisit. Britt, night variant has shipped. Yes, okay. That's another thing too. That Google Doc didn't come from my factory. Please don't use that as like that's what's happening in the business. Please don't, because that's not my factory's document. That was created by somebody that doesn't have my logistics and is viewing things. Yes, I will have a list for you. Yes, for Maribel. She's been paused, so I'm just going to be processing cancellations for that. People have asked me for a refund for products that are done. Those are the ones I'm not refunding. I'm going to reiterate this. I am not refunding for products that have shipped to me and I am processing. So if you're writing me to get a refund for the bride set profile, I can't process a refund for that. Those are made to order pins. I can offer you a store credit if you want to exchange it for something else, if you want a dream pin of some other thing, if you don't want the bride pins anymore, but I'm not offering a refund for those because those I ordered based on what I sold. So again, those are for those. Those are the ones that I'm denying refunds. Those are the refunds that you guys see on the Discord of people that get upset that they want a refund. It's because they wanted a refund on a product that's done. It's almost finished. And I can't, there's just no way. Oh, yes, Jenna, I will definitely be able to process your things. There should be a Google Live form for you to fill out and be able to get that shipment out to you. The questions that people are asking aren't productive questions, and I'm not going to sit here and try to answer them because it's not a question. No, they don't sell out instantly. They haven't for the last 7 months, and that has a lot to do with many factors. I think that the market is slow. It's different than it was a year ago, and also, not everything sells out, to be honest with you, because it's kind of, honestly, it's just been slow. I mean, that has a lot to do with my reputation, things like that. So I'm trying to pick back up and rebrand, remarket, things like that. So that's where I'm at. I don't understand what receipts you want to see. You want me to show you? I'm going to come back to show the receipts. I just don't want to log in while you guys are live watching me. I'm going to close the live and I'll be back and I'll be able to kind of organize everything to show everybody because I don't want to type in my passwords and show people stuff. And like I said, yeah, I am. I know you can't see my screen. It's like some of you. Yes, Yogi Bear the Red Corgi, I will have a list of the items that have been canceled. They just didn't meet the order requirement, and then those will be canceled. I already kind of started doing some of those. Honestly, I'm not ignoring people. I just recognize names, and none of you guys are pre-sale buyers. So I'm just not going to take the time to answer questions for people that didn't buy a product. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do that. No, it hasn't been some people. It's not a long list, actually. It's just, yeah, I'll be right back. This is.
You can. No. She ended the video.